So, CJ on 32's baby mama shot somebody. Let's talk about this situation from the perspective of a king, from the perspective of royalty. There are a lot of jesters, a lot of royal jesters, not even royal, talking about stuff that doesn't even make any sense. Let's look at the situation with some basic common sense, but with a royal mindset. The royal mindset. Now you may say, what gives you the right to speak on this? Number one, same reason anybody has a right to speak on it. What gives the news the right to speak on it? So they can speak on it, but I can't speak on it. Number two, I have a little bit of history with the 32 gang. Nothing personally with CJ. I never met him, never talked to him personally. I dropped a video years ago. This was when my channel was called Side Hustle Kings. I've since then taken the video down. I still have the video. And I was basically warning the group. Let them know, like, hey, there's certain people around you. They're not who you think they are. Woo woo woo. Boom boom boom. Real to Real, I think he changed his channel to Real Empire. He made a video in response to what I said. Trying to tell me I was a clout chaser, all this other stuff. And I made a response video, and I said that was my last thing I was speaking of, which is why I took the video down. I have no reason to clout. At the time, I had no reason to clout chase. Even now, I have no reason to clout chase. These guys, not all of them, but they're not as wise and smart as they think they are. You have all this money, you're making all this money. I'm not talking about anybody specific in regards to CJ or whoever. You can put it on who you want to. But you don't own any land, you don't own no houses, you don't own a house. Most of them. They're not working toward that. Now I know CJ, he can go buy a house, but at the same time, come on, man. These cars can be here today and gone tomorrow. What about having a place to lay your head? Back then, we owned, what, 2 pieces of land, maybe? No, we own 3 pieces of land, because if you include the land that the house is on, the land next to it, and then the land that we had that showed in the video, we ended up selling that land. That was the first piece of land that I bought before I moved here. I sold that land to Habitat for Humanity. They're putting a house on it now. I sold it. Years later, made a profit off of it. Then we end up buying some more land right next to our house. Do we own a house? Technically, no, we don't own it. I'm gonna be real. Technically, no, we don't own it. Why? Because we're still paying on it. How much is my payment on the house? $225. We owe like $5,000. I'm about to pay it off. Why didn't I pay it off? Because I really had no need to pay it off. $225, yeah, I could have paid it off, but like, come on, man. Come on, I can do other things with that money. So, do I own it free and clear? No, we're still making payments on it, just to be honest. Let's get into it. So, a new report as of August of today suggests that CJ on 32's may have fatally shot an intruder who broke into his home in Joliet, Illinois. This claim originated via a social media post backed by a brief video allegedly showing CJ at the scene with police sirens visible in the background. In that recording, he reportedly says, "Yes, this is my house. Yes, it's a body in my house. They broke in my crib, and you know it's consequences behind action." For those who don't know, they're saying that it was his baby mama that shot the intruder. But did you? I'm different, man. I'm different. I pick up on different things. Me personally, I'm leaning toward an inside job. And the reason for that is the guy that was the intruder, he had a screwdriver. He had a screwdriver. So, to me, this signals something. Number one, is it intent and knowledge? A screwdriver is a low-profile tool, easy to conceal and access. The fact that the intruder used only a screwdriver may suggest, and I got notes because we professional with this when we need to be, right? That they expected minimal resistance, possibly believing no one was present. You're going to break into a house with a screwdriver. If you're breaking into a house with a screwdriver, then you probably know where you can use that screwdriver, because maybe it's an older house with older windows, and you can, back in there you could pry the windows open with a screwdriver. I don't know if it's that type of house. Maybe it is. But it just seems weird for this person to break into CJ's house with a screwdriver. A screwdriver? Knowing what type of person CJ is. Unless it was random. Was it random? Nah, I don't think it's random. So if it wasn't random, and this person came in with a screwdriver, did they decide to do that with a screwdriver, or did somebody send them? Because that doesn't make sense to break into a house with a screwdriver unless you think nobody is there. And if you don't think nobody is there, then you didn't do your recon? Or is it a possibility that they thought nobody was there because somebody told them that nobody was supposed to be there, and then the baby mama and the daughter happened to be there? We don't know if CJ was there or not. Allegedly, he wasn't there. Nobody really knows. Only those who know, they know. But was it a situation where CJ wasn't there, or he wasn't supposed to be there? The baby mama and daughter wasn't supposed to be there. And so this person was breaking in with a screwdriver. Hey man, it's easy to get in there. I know it's what you do. Go right there, that window. It's a raggedy window, or it's a raggedy door. You pry it open. I've seen it before because CJ told me, or I just know. I'm just saying. Or was this a spontaneous decision rather than a fully planned burglary with tools prepared for forced entry? Then we have number 2, the alternative interpretation. Was it tactical thinking? Now, a screwdriver could serve as a makeshift weapon or a tool for quick entry, prying open windows or loosening locks, which is what we just discussed. It might mean the intruder anticipated disarming alarms or gaining access quietly. Does CJ have an alarm on the property? If he doesn't have a alarm, was the alarm not activated because his baby mama and his daughter were in the house? I mean, there's so many different situations in that regard. It's almost like you pull your car up, you don't always lock your car. You may be getting stuff out of it, go in the house, put stuff down. I'm not gonna lock my car yet, or you just forget. I'm not gonna set the alarm on the house because I'm expecting CJ to come back, or we just chilling. We don't know all the details. What I'm saying is, this man had a screwdriver breaking into somebody's house. Instead of some type of weapon, a knife, a gun. I feel like that if they had a screwdriver, which they did, they were mostly expecting nobody really to be there. If you're going to break into somebody's house, you're not going in there to get killed. Therefore, if you think there's going to be some action, you're probably going to bring some type of action. And I can almost guarantee you that this wasn't just a one-person job. A lookout, something. Them cameras gonna tell it. People got these Ring cameras, these doorbell cameras. I know I got one. I got plenty of cameras around the house, around the property. I'm just saying. Now let's look at the legal context of it, because there's a lot of speculation about who really did it. Did she do it? Did he do it? Then he left, and we know how it goes. We don't know that. But in Illinois, you have the castle doctrine. And here's how the castle doctrine works. You have no duty to retreat at home. In Illinois, if someone unlawfully enters your home, you're not legally required to retreat. The castle doctrine applies within your dwelling, meaning you can use force, even deadly, if you reasonably believe it's necessary to prevent harm or stop a felony from being committed inside. Number 2, you have the key legal requirements of the castle doctrine. To invoke self-defense under this doctrine, 3 main conditions must be satisfied. Unlawful or violent entry into the home, we have that. A reasonable belief of imminent danger, such as the intruder posing a risk of death, great bodily harm, or committing a forcible felony, we have that. The use of force must be proportional. Excessive force beyond what's necessary can negate the defense. An attorney would, argue that and try to make it seem like, oh no, it wasn't reasonable, it wasn't proportional to what was going on. Then, of course, the defense team would say it was reasonable because they shouldn't have been in the first place. Now, what if it wasn't CJ but someone else who shot in regards to his baby mama? Let's say it's his baby mama that did the shooting. Even if someone within the home, like CJ's baby mama, used force, the castle doctrine extends to protecting people in the home. So she has the right to protect her baby. She also has the right to protect CJ in that regard. But according to the story, CJ wasn't there. Again, even if someone within the home, like CJ's baby mama, used force, the castle doctrine extends to protecting people in the home acting under reasonable belief of threat. Illinois law explicitly allows you to defend another person if you reasonably believe they're in imminent danger of unlawful force. We don't know who was there, do we? They know, but we don't really know. So if she believed the intruder posed a real threat, her actions could qualify as self-defense, even if she wasn't the property owner. Because she wouldn't be the property owner. The property would be CJ's, CJ property. I don't know if he's renting. I don't know if that's his mother's house. I mean, he said he's been there for like 6 years or whatnot. I don't know whose house it is. But either way, if she did the shooting, even though she's not the quote-unquote property owner, she has the right to defend herself. She has the right to defend her baby. And if CJ was there, she has the right to defend CJ. Now, according to the story goes again, CJ wasn't there. Now, what about CJ being a convicted felon? Because this is the biggest thing that people are talking about. Oh, it wasn't her, it was him. Maybe it was. We don't know. Felon and self-defense rights. Being a convicted felon does not revoke your right to claim self-defense under Illinois law, including the castle doctrine. That privilege remains in effect independent of criminal record, unless you're the initial aggressor or using force unlawfully. Now, there's a catch to all this. It's saying that even though he's a convicted felon, he can't have a gun. He has the right to defend himself. But, and this thing is deeper. Like I don't want to get political with it, but we know that people that look like myself are disproportionately locked up in comparison to others that do the same crimes. So we know that the prison system consists mostly of us. When you have laws in place that make it hard, damn near impossible, it's possible, but damn near impossible, for a person that's a convicted felon to get a firearm to protect themselves after they have served their sentence, who do you think that's directed at? Who do you really think that's directed at? Like, come on, man. So then we have felony and firearms. However, Felons in Illinois are generally prohibited from possessing firearms. He knows that. We know that. That said, if a felon uses another object like a household item for self-defense under the castle doctrine, the act of using force may be still protected as long as it meets the reasonableness and proportionality standards. If it's later confirmed that CJ on 32 himself pulled the trigger and he is legally a convicted felon, which he is, the situation changes drastically, no matter how valid the castle doctrine self-defense claim might otherwise be. So here's what this would mean under Illinois law. Like, this is, it's a messed up situation, man. It's messed up because even if he was there, who's going to let somebody come in their house and then not defend themselves and not defend their family? So if you do pick up the gun and you take this person out, you won't be charged. I'm getting ahead of myself. You won't be charged for murder, but you still can be charged for possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, which is ludicrous. Absolutely ludicrous. So again, here's what this would mean under Illinois law. You have the felon in possession of a firearm. It's illegal for a convicted felon to knowingly possess a firearm or ammunition. This law applies even inside your own home. There's no exception for self-defense. That's crazy. That is straight up crazy. But this is the law they have in place. This is the law they have in place. And let me add this, because this touches near and dear to my heart too. I myself am a convicted felon, and I served in the military. Did I become a convicted felon because I served in the military? No. What I did was, when I was, young and dumb, 17, 18 years old, making and selling counterfeit money. But on my record, I'm still a convicted felon. I am 41, about to be 42 years old. Look how long ago that was. You can do the math. So I'm not speaking about this just to be speaking about this. I myself am a convicted felon. Them days is over with. Thank God, them days is over with. My days of crime were over when my ass got arrested and did my time. I did 18 months fed time. They gave me 18 months fed time. My criminal days is over. I'm a family man. I'm a businessman. The crazy thing is, all the things I was doing back then, I was doing because I wanted to run a business. If I would have did the right way, had the right direction, maybe I wouldn't have went down that path. This is why it's so important to care of yourself as kings, as royalty, and if you are a female, listen to the video, as queens. Being a king or queen is carrying yourself in a certain way. That way, you can help others to carry themselves a certain way. You can't help me carry myself as a king, or, we're going to say queen. Not me carry myself as a queen, but you get my point. If you don't even know what it means to carry yourself as royalty. This is why the name of the channel is The Life of a Real King. I'm a real king, and so are you, but you are not a king or royalty if you are out here acting foolishly. It may be in your blood, it may be in your DNA, but until you have the insight to sit on that throne the right way, all you're going to do is destroy yourself and destroy others. So don't even sit on the throne. Don't even sit on the throne until you're ready. If proven, it's typically a class 3 felony, 2 to 10 years in prison, but depending on his record, prior violent felony, it can escalate to a class 2 felony, which would be between 3 and 14 years. So even if the shooting itself is justified under self-defense, simply possessing and firing the gun would be its own separate felony charge. Can he beat it? Of course he can. Then you have the self-defense versus firearm prohibition. Illinois courts have consistently ruled that self-defense doesn't erase firearm possession charges for felons. You can defend yourself, but you can't defend yourself with a gun. I wonder why. when it boils down to who most of the felons are on paper. You can defend yourself, but you can't defend yourself with a gun because you're a convicted felon, even though you did your time, even though you paid your restitution. It's deeper than what y'all thinking. In other words, he may be found not guilty of murder/manslaughter because of the castle doctrine, his right to defend himself inside his home if it was him, but he could still face serious prison time just for having and using the gun. On top of state law, there's the federal law, which makes it illegal for felons to possess firearms. So it doesn't even matter if the state of Illinois allowed it. There's still the federal law. A conviction here carries up to 10 years in federal prison with enhancements if the person has multiple priors. So the realistic legal outcome, if it turns out CJ fired the weapon, the shooting may be justified under Illinois castle doctrine, which means no charges for this person dying, right? But prosecutors could still charge him with unlawful use of a weapon by a felon, which carries serious penalties. Whether he faces state or federal charges could depend on local DA discretion and whether the feds want to pick up the case, which is what happened to me. I had state charges, and then I got that, they were talking like, man, you get that pink piece of paper, the feds have picked up on it, and lo and behold, King, bow, through the flap. They sent me that pink piece of paper and I was sick. Lord, I was sick. Lord, I'm finna do some serious time now, even though I didn't know how much time I was gonna be doing anyway, but like, oh man, you got that pink piece of paper, man? The feds, man, oh man, dang, you be all right, man, you be all right, bro, I ain't gonna lie, I was sick. The feds had picked my case up. Good Lord. So if his baby mama pulled the trigger, she might be fully protected under the Illinois castle doctrine. But if CJ did it himself, he'd be facing the most dangerous twist of all. Not because of the self-defense claim, but because as a convicted felon, he isn't even allowed to hold that gun in the first place. This means this story isn't just about protecting your home, it's about how your past can still come back and complicate your future. And it's crazy that we as convicted felons, they don't want us to have guns. It is crazy. Now, people say that he made himself a target because of his flashiness, the cars he drives, his jewelry and everything. So I guess I make myself a target too, because I got my little bing bing chain on, I got my little chain on, so that makes me a target. I ain't riding no Lamborghini. My time for those type of cars isn't now. I got other priorities that I'm working on. We buying up land. We looking at building some more homes and stuff like that. So I'm waiting for that. Not saying that I can't necessarily do it, but my priorities are a little bit different. Yes, he can wear his jewelry, but let's be real. Let's be real about it. Him wearing the jewelry and carrying himself the way he does, it automatically makes him a target. And I'm pretty sure he's aware of that. I'm pretty sure you're wearing jewelry. You're wearing all these different things. You're driving these cars to areas. Now, I'm not saying that he can't, but you gotta realize the people that you are around. A lot of jealous ass black folks who don't want to see you have these different things, even though your channel is based on, I'm a convicted felon. Now look at me. I'm doing it this way. I'm doing it the right way. You can do the same thing that I'm doing if you just take the time. That's the message he's basically presenting, which is why I rock with him. And plus, me having been locked up before and my life being changed around, my life, I don't know what he believed in, but my life was changed around because of God. God got a hold of me and changed my life around, which is why I'm a new person. For him, that may not be the case. I don't know. I've heard him talk about God a few times, and being grateful, and him saying he don't really care about that stuff and stuff like that. I mean, if he says that, then that's what he says. I do know he said before that family is a priority to him. And here is where I give pushback on that. If family is a priority to you, then you got to make some better decisions for your family, man. You got to make some better decisions in regards to how many women you sleeping with. You're not setting an example as a king when you are out here sleeping with multiple women and having these different children by these different women. Now you can disagree with that, but that's just real talk, man. That's not a family. You putting your seed in these women and in some of these women that you don't really care about no more. That's not royalty, man. That's like, I'm gonna just do it because I can do it. I want you and I want everybody listening to this video to be a better example, especially with the influence that you have, especially with the people that listen to you. So can he wear his jewelry? Should he be able to wear his jewelry? Yes. But just because you can do something don't mean that you should do it all the time. Should he fix his cars up and drive his cars and enjoy them? Of course, because that's what he does for his business. Part of his business, car content. But it comes a point in time where you're like, you know what? I can still make car content and not be out here in the streets like this. I think he's suffering from but we're just gonna make something up, street anxiety, where you still part of you still wants to be in the streets, but the other part of you don't want to be in the streets. You want to be seen because your brand, your business, and everything, but then the other part of you don't want to, so there's a conflict, and it's creating a anxiety within you. Well, you have to decide what you're going to do after this. Enjoy your jewelry, enjoy your money, enjoy your cars, but also, man, you got to make wise decisions. And I'm not saying that you making wiser decisions don't mean that somebody can't still do what they did. What I'm saying is when we make wiser decisions, it minimizes our risk. It minimizes our exposure for these things that happen. Once you minimize those risks and exposure, just like in business, now you can see more clearly. So if something is coming, oh, okay, I can see you're not blinded because of this and that, everything gets in the way. Everything is clear. I see that coming. Again, I'm not saying that this can't happen to nobody, because this can happen to me. But what I'm also saying is we can minimize the risk of these things happening, especially himself, by, I'm not saying don't go out here and do car content and stuff, but minimizing your exposure and minimizing your risk. So that's all I got to say about it. We'll probably speak about it again as more facts come out. Do y'all agree with me? You don't agree with me? Am I crazy when I'm thinking? What do y'all think about the situation? Let me know in the comment section.